Hey there, cat guardians. Today we're diving deep into raw meat diets for cats. Now we all want what's best for our feline overlords, right? We want them to thrive, to be healthy, to live their best 9 lives. And with the rising popularity of raw feeding, it's only natural to wonder if we should be ditching the kibble and embracing the wild side of our cat's diet. But hold your whisker twitching for a second. Before you grab that slab of salmon from the fridge, we need to talk about the potential risks and rewards of going raw. Because let me tell you, just like navigating the perilous terrain of a laser pointer chase, there are some serious dangers lurking in those raw meats. We're talking about bacterial contamination, nutritional imbalances, choking hazards, the kind of stuff that can turn your cat's perfect world upside down. So, buckle up, cat dads and moms, because we're about to separate the raw truth from the raw deal. We all know cats have a reputation for being fearless explorers, especially when it comes to sniffing out a tasty morsel. But that adventurous spirit can get them into trouble when it comes to raw meat. You see, raw meat can be a breeding ground for some pretty nasty bacteria like Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli. These microscopic monsters can wreak havoc on your cat's digestive system, leading to vomiting, diarrhea, and lethargy. And it's not just your cat who's at risk. These bacteria can also spread to humans, especially young children, pregnant women, and anyone with a weakened immune system. We're talking about serious infections here, folks, the kind that land you in the hospital. And if that wasn't enough to make you think twice, raw meat can also harbor parasites like Toxoplasma gondii. This little nightmare can cause a whole host of health problems in cats, and it can even be dangerous for pregnant women. Now I know what you're thinking. Cats are natural carnivores. They're meant to eat raw meat. And you're right, they are. But here's the thing. A wild cat's diet is incredibly diverse. They don't just eat muscle meat, they consume the whole shebang, which includes bones, organs, even the stomach contents of their prey. This smorgasbord of nutrients is crucial for their health, and it's something that's really hard to replicate with a homemade raw diet. Cats need specific amounts of essential nutrients like taurine, arginine, and vitamin A, and getting the balance right is like walking a tightrope. Too little of one nutrient can lead to deficiencies, while too much of another can be toxic. It's a delicate dance, and without the guidance of a board-certified veterinary nutritionist, you could be putting your cat's health at risk. We've all seen those adorable videos of cats gnawing on bones, but the truth is, bones can be a serious choking hazard for our feline friends. Cooked bones are particularly dangerous because they can splinter easily, but even raw bones can pose a risk. These sharp shards can get lodged in your cat's throat, esophagus, or intestines, causing painful blockages, internal bleeding, and even life-threatening infections. And before you think that ground bone is a safe alternative, think again. Even ground bone can contain fragments that are large enough to cause problems. It's just not worth the risk, folks. There are plenty of other ways to give your cat the chewing satisfaction they crave without putting their health in jeopardy. Let's face it, handling raw meat is messy business. And when you're talking about raw meat that's potentially contaminated with harmful bacteria, things can get downright dangerous. Every time you touch raw meat, you're transferring those invisible enemies onto your hands, your countertops, your utensils, basically anything that comes into contact with it. And, if you're not meticulously disinfecting every surface, you're creating a breeding ground for bacteria that can make both you and your cat sick. We're talking about food poisoning, skin infections, the works. It's like playing a game of bacterial hot potato and nobody wins. So unless you're prepared to turn your kitchen into a biohazard zone, it's best to err on the side of caution and avoid raw meat altogether. Now for some cats and their humans, the risks associated with raw meat diets are even greater. We're talking about cats with weakened immune systems, whether it's due to a medical condition, certain medications, or simply old age. These cats are more susceptible to infections, and even a small exposure to harmful bacteria can have serious consequences. And it's not just the cats we need to worry about. If you live with someone who is immunocompromised, maybe a young child, an elderly person, or someone undergoing chemotherapy, feeding your cat a raw meat diet could be putting their health at risk. It's a tough call, but sometimes, the most loving thing we can do for our feline companions is to prioritize the health and safety of everyone in the household. The idea of feeding our cats a more natural diet is appealing. We want them to tap into their inner tiger, to experience the raw power of their ancestors. But the truth is, our domesticated house panthers are a far cry from their wild counterparts. They've adapted to our world, to our food, and frankly, they're doing pretty darn well on commercially prepared diets. Now, I'm not saying that raw feeding is always a bad choice. If you're dead set on going raw, you need to do your research, consult with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist, and be prepared to make a serious commitment to safety and hygiene. But for most cat guardians, the risks of raw feeding far outweigh the potential benefits. There are plenty of other ways to show your cat love and provide them with a healthy, balanced diet. So, let's keep our feline friends safe, happy, and purring, without the raw meat drama.